Hello, my name's Dan Layden, and this is Jordan Trendelmen, and we are members of the Diocese of Northern Indiana. Specifically, we go to St. Alban's Episcopal Church in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And recently, we were a part of a national conference called Evangelism Matters that was held in Cleveland, Ohio, with people from all around the church. And it was a wonderful gathering, and we just wanted to give you some of our takeaways from that conference. And so I turn over to Jordan for his reflections.
I had the great honor of arriving to the conference a day early to be part of a catalyst meeting, and it immediately thrust me into a scenario where I was interacting with Episcopalians from all over the country, and it was just such a delight to share in that process and to be around people who are all focused on kind of moving forward with this idea of evangelism within the Episcopal Church and how it may or may not look different from what people typically think of evangelism. Some of the things I really took away from some of the panels was the idea that evangelism doesn't have to be this black and white ultimatum narrative that it so many times gets presented as, you really can't in many ways separate the idea of social justice from evangelism, because evangelism isn't just about the good word as a formula or the good news as a formula, but it's about the complete restoration of the dignity of all human life and this world itself. And so that was such a cool concept to see so so well articulated by so many of the people in the panels and different talks that were going on. So it was just really fantastic opportunity to grow and share in that kind of idea.
Wonderful. And my takeaways were twofold. One was I went to a workshop on prayer and evangelism, and to do some of the simple things that one should think of but often doesn't, and that is just to pray for the people who are prospective new members, having a list of prospective new members, and every Saturday praying for people to come to church, trusting that prayer does work, and that God does move people's hearts, and that we are called to respond to that. I've been really thinking a lot about Acts chapter 8 with the Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch over the last year and a half or so, and thinking of that in terms of evangelism. And I think one of the things that the conference also brought home to me was that Episcopalians can recapture evangelism. We can take hold of that once again. And a good example is that many years ago, most Episcopal churches were not very good at outreach. Most Episcopal churches were very good at writing checks and not doing outreach. But now as you look around the church, many churches do lots of hands-on activities in outreach, connecting with people in their community. And that's because of the emphasis that was put on it by bishops and priests and others. And so recapturing evangelism and taking it away from the model of just thinking about evangelism as going and knocking on people's doors. But that evangelism is more about connecting and entering into and journeying with someone and being a part of that journey. Much like Philip was called by the Spirit and led to connect with the Ethiopian eunuch, to pay attention to those people in our lives who are on that journey already, and we as evangelists could be called to come alongside them, to listen to them, to not tell so much as to ask questions and to help them on their journey, which would also help us on ours. So those were my takeaways, and thought it was a wonderful conference that we both
It was fantastic, yeah.
really enjoyed, and
seeing Bishop Curry speak was
unbelievable.
Just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So we give thanks to you and pray that your evangelism and your congregation will go well.